Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Katie Clark, and I am the founder and president of the Little Rock Community Chapter of Period. And today I am here with April, founder and owner of FemPAQ, a feminine emergency kit. Thank you so much for being here, April. So to start off, how did you get involved in the menstrual product business, and how did you come up with the idea for FemPAQ?
Well, in 2018, my friend and I, we took a birthday trip. We take one every year. We try to see each other every year. And so we were in LA. She's a New Yorker. As long as I've known her, she's always worn black. And she was so excited about bringing white pants to LA. And so on the last day, she wore her last white pants and unfortunately got her period. And she suffers from endometriosis as well. She recently just found that out. And so we were on our way to the airport because it was our last day, and our Airbnb was close to a Walgreens and CVS. So we rushed right over, looking for a quick, convenient solution, just so she can be comfortable on her flight from LA to New York. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, there wasn't anything like at all. Even when we got to the airport, there wasn't anything that she could feel comfortable about her flight or her ride home.
Right.
And so when I got back to Arkansas, I was just like, I can't believe there isn't anything that's like convenient to for unexpected periods. I mean, we all experienced it. We know it happens. So why wasn't there anything? And I was talking to my fiance about it, and he was like, you should just do it. He was like, I didn't know that was a problem. And I was just like, So I started doing research and doing all the Googling and just trying to figure out if there was anything out there. And unfortunately, there wasn't, like, for an emergency. And so, FemPAQ was born. And so I just started doing my due diligence and figuring out exactly what we would need in that situation. I mean, I know what I would need in that situation. So it was just like about finding a solution to a problem. And so that's what I did.
And do you have any other influences with this work besides that one trip? Was there anything else that played a role?
Yeah, when I started thinking about like all the times it happened to me and all the times it happened to my friends, and having conversations with my coworkers about like getting their period unexpectedly or being afraid to go to the bathroom because they didn't have their purse with them. So it's like, oh, let me hide my tampon or my pad, and so it was just, all of the things that I've experienced, other people experienced. I remember having a conversation with my aunt. We were playing a game. I think it's called Truth and Lie. And she was named all these scenarios. And one of them was her getting her period. She worked at Bank of America at the time. And she said, I got my period and it was so bad that I ruined my clothing and I ruined the chair. And she said that she waited until every single person left that building before she went home. And she said, I felt so bad for the person who had to clean it up. And, just remembering all of those things. And I was just like, like, okay, yeah, I have to do this now, Yeah. And so when I started, I was like, could I really pull this off? And so is this really a problem? Is this just me and my friends, or people I know? And then Amanda Seals did her first stand-up called I Be Knowing on HBO. In her stand-up, she talks about getting your period unexpectedly and putting your menstrual MacGyver skills to use with a roll of toilet paper, and it was just like, okay, it's not just me, it's all of us. So, and then from there, it was like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you have any difficulties getting this started, getting it up and running?
Creating the product, I would say in regards to creating it, no. But after creating it, it was like, okay, what do I do now? How do I let people know that this is here? Like, what do I do? And so I, went to the Chamber of Commerce and talked to someone from their small business program. And from there, I just started using all my resources, the ASBTBC, PTAC, like anybody that could help me make this product available to everyone. And then after coming in contact with you guys, first of all, was a breath of fresh air to know that, okay, I'm not fighting this fight alone here. Right. And so, yeah, that has been was the only issue. It's like, okay, I created this thing. Now, how do I make it available to people?
Mm-hmm. And do you have any challenges right now? I know, we're going through a pandemic, and being a small business owner can be really challenging. So what are you experiencing right now?
Yes, our biggest challenge has been letting our customers know that we have it available, because we're B2B. We want businesses to carry our product for their employees. So that's something that they don't have to worry about while at work. I mean, because think about it, production goes down because I got my period, I'm cramping, I'm going home. Right. And so that's our main focus. And that has been our biggest challenge, because most of the people in that space happen to be men. And so if they're not experiencing it, they don't understand the need for it. Right. And so that has been our biggest challenge. How do we get guys to understand that this is something that you guys need? And not only for your employee, but it's good for your business as well, because, we are targeting like the travel and hospitality industry. We want airlines to make sure they have them. I mean, because flying, the travel period is a very real thing. Yes. And, that's one thing we shouldn't have to worry about. And so, or hotels, or, just making it available in a space where we are. And so that has proven to be our biggest problem, especially now since COVID has hit. Right. And so what does it mean to you to be a Black business owner, especially in the menstrual space and especially as a woman? It has meant everything to me since starting. I've always had influences. My mom is an entrepreneur. She has owned her own salon since I was a little girl. So I've always had examples of entrepreneurship. But I've always said, before FemPAQ, I never wanted to own my own business because I knew how hard it would be. And so, but in this journey, it has been very refreshing and been very rewarding, because we've had so many people rooting for us, like so many people speaking about us in spaces that I'm not even in, so, and for someone who looks like me, I think it's pretty awesome, because I'm being an example for those who are coming up. And I also think it's awesome because I'm not the only Black woman in that space now, companies like Femly and the Honey Pot. So that is very encouraging to see as well, because, FemTech is a very new thing. So I'm glad to be a part of the journey. Yeah. And so what areas of improvement do you see in the menstrual space? Because there's a lot of talk right now about including diverse voices and experiences and stories and making sure everyone is heard. So what do you see that needs improving here? I feel like since FemTech has started, I feel like now we're starting to see a change. And that change is still very new, know. And so I think if we all keep pushing, like organizations like yours and other bloggers and other people who are in the menstrual space, I feel like we can make our voices be heard. especially now with the tampon tax and several other states, have stopped. I've been working on it here too. I've been talking to people, Senator Bozeman's office, telling her about you guys, like, listen, this is what needs to happen. So I feel like if we keep making our voices heard, we can get it done. Because again, it's still very new. So I feel like that's the improvement, like us talking about it now and starting to get the word out there. Because guess what? We have a period. Guess what? You wouldn't be here without it.
Right.
So let's move on.
Definitely. And speaking of that, what are menstrual taboos that you want to see go away? Because there are so many. Just like you said, this is so new, but like we need to move on.
Yes. Well, one is hiding your tampon and pad when going to the restroom. I mean, we should not feel like we need to hide something that's natural. Or just that feeling, that feeling when you get your period and you got to go to the bathroom and it's like everyone's staring at me, or like there's something on the back of my clothing. I feel like with FemPAQ, because we're providing convenience to menstrual health, I feel like our product is not only doing that, but it's also ending the trauma and the anxiety that comes along with getting your period unexpectedly. Because, that can follow you from grade school, even through adult life. I mean, I know women who don't get a period right now and said that they were petrified that they were either going to ruin someone's car because they were riding a car, or ruin somebody's couch because they were sitting on the couch. And to think about that, like that anxiety, like that follows you, like that's our main focus. Like that's what we want to end. And we want to end also talking about periods. I feel like we all need to be educated, not just girls that, well, you get a period, but boys. Like to stand for girls and to say, hey, she got her period. Instead of pointing your finger at her, how about you just give her a sweater or your jacket so she can wrap around her waist, So I would talk to guys. It's funny. I was talking to a guy who is an entrepreneur, and I was telling him about like what we stood for and what we were doing. And he goes, there was this girl in my class, and I can tell you her name. I can tell you exactly what she had on. And he said she got her period, and everyone made fun of her. And he said they made fun of her until we graduated high school.
Oh my.
Yes. And I said, I'm sure that still follows her to this day. That has affected her to this day. And I said, well, do you have daughters? And he said, no, but I have sons. And I was like, okay, so now you teach your sons to stand for women.
Yes.
Instead of pointing the finger, how about I help them? So that's our main focus. We're trying to change the stigma around it. So I feel like we can do it. You guys and everyone else who's in that space, we can make our voices heard.
Yeah, I love that. And so to end, what advice do you have for other social entrepreneurs, especially Black women, women of color, young people who are just thinking about these things?
I would just say do it. Like if you have the mind to do it, just do it. There's nothing that can stop you because it's your path. If that's the path you want to take, go right ahead. And also attend every networking event that's available to you, every opportunity. Always stay prepared because that's how you get noticed. And so I would say just keep pushing. We've been doing this for 2 years, and I still feel like we're still at the beginning stages, very much so. So patience is always key, but keep fighting for what you feel is right, and you will always win.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, April. And for those of you watching, you can find out more and purchase FemPAQ at fempaq.com and follow on Instagram and Facebook at FemPAQ. Awesome.
Thank you so much.